Hello, how are you? It's normal for international time to differ from one place to another and from one country to another. But what's a bit strange is when this difference occurs from one city to another within the borders of the same country. Two people living in the same country agree on a time to meet, and neither of them can meet the other because each one's watch is different. One's time is 4:00 and the other's is 5:00. Hello, I'm Firas, but before we start, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and activate the bell so you can receive our videos as soon as they are posted. Arizona in the United States of America belongs to the Mountain Time Zone, and this zone differs from some American states that observe daylight saving time. The time in Arizona is UTC 7. To understand what UTC and all that means, let's quickly explain it. UTC stands for Coordinated Universal Time and is tied to the English capital, London. The three letters do not represent an abbreviation for any other word. The reason these three letters were chosen is a bit odd. The English used to refer to the time using the letters CUT, which was an abbreviation for Coordinated Universal Time. The French, however, had a different abbreviation, which was TUC, short for Temps Universal Coordinate. So they decided to split the difference and make it UTC. As for the -7 we mentioned for Arizona, it means that the city's time is 7 hours behind London time. Similarly, if we say, for example, UTC plus 4, it means that the city's time is London time plus 4 hours. Let's go back to the time in Arizona, specifically an area called Navajo, which is part of the state. This area extends across the southwestern side of America, and the largest part of it belongs to Arizona. The time in this area differs from the time in the rest of the areas by a full hour. So, if you're passing through the Navajo area while traveling from one place to another within the same state, this time difference will cause you a new kind of confusion, forcing you to adjust your clock forward or backward depending on the area you are in, as if you are traveling through time. From America, let's head to Australia, specifically the town of Eucla. In reality, this town has a unique time that neither follows the region it is in nor is it a whole number. The town of Eucla, located just after the border of South Australia, should technically follow the time zone of Western Australia, which is UTC plus 8. The situation there is a bit different. The time in Eucla is UTC plus 8:45, meaning the town has an extra 45 minutes on top of South Australia's time. The confusion doesn't stop there. The situation becomes even more complicated if South Australia observes daylight saving time, which differs from standard time by a full hour. This means the time difference between Eucla and nearby South Australia could be 45 minutes or it could be an hour and 45 minutes. The difference between Spain and Portugal is 1 hour, which is a normal, unsurprising difference. What is strange, however, is that in a very short period, simply by crossing the Guadiana River, it's as if you have gone back 1 hour in time. The same applies in reverse. As soon as you cross the river from the Portuguese side to Spain, it's as if you have moved forward an entire hour. To grasp this, the Guadiana River, which serves as the boundary between the two countries, is only about 750 meters wide, less than a kilometer. In 1949 AD, China decided that the entire country would adopt a unified time system. The Universal Time System followed by the Chinese capital, Beijing, which is UTC plus 8. This decision caused some time confusion, particularly in the border areas between China and Afghanistan, where the time difference with Beijing is about 3.5 full hours. Afghanistan follows UTC plus 4:30. So as soon as you cross the border from China to Afghanistan or from Afghanistan to China, you must change your clock by 3.5 full hours. The confusion in this area doesn't stop here. Another Chinese province, Xinjiang, follows a second, unofficial time different from the previous two, UTC plus 6. It is well known that the Earth is divided into lines of longitude and latitude that play a role in shaping the different time zones between countries. For example, America has 4 different time zones, meaning time varies between the states. Meanwhile, China, despite its enormous size, which is almost equivalent to the size of the United States, follows a single time zone. However, when we talk about the polar region, the situation is completely different. The time at the poles is the most insane of all. The polar region does not follow any time zone. The reason for this is that the Earth's axis of rotation intersects with the external surface at the poles, and consequently the lines of longitude, which are the fundamental cause of time zones, converge and intertwine there. That's why the time there keeps changing. The situation in the South Pole region is slightly different from the North Pole region. For example, the research centers located there each follow a specific time zone. The McMurdo Research Station follows the time zone of New Zealand, while the Amundsen Scott Research Station follows the time zone of the United States. The town of Tweed Heads, located in the far north of the Australian state of New South Wales, meets another town called Coolangatta, which is situated on the Gold Coast of Queensland. If you look at these two towns on the map and see how close they are, you would assume they both follow the same time zone. However, New South Wales observes daylight saving time and Queensland does not, which results in a full hour's time difference between the two towns. It seems Australia is determined to confuse people. The city of Broken Hill, also located in the state of New South Wales, Australia, has a different time than the rest of the areas in the same state. This city is tied to the South Australia region. Since time zones often follow historical and political boundaries more than geographical regions and lines of longitude, this causes Broken Hill to be half an hour behind the rest of the areas and cities in the same state. So, if you were anywhere else within the state and moved to Broken Hill, you would have to turn your clock back half an hour. The Chatham Islands are located southeast of the main landmass of New Zealand, about 680 km out in the Pacific Ocean. These islands, which consist of about 11 islands, follow a different time zone than the well-known ones, a zone that differs from Coordinated Universal Time by an extra 45 minutes. Even these 45 minutes are not constant throughout the year. The Chatham Islands sometimes observe daylight saving time, which adds another hour to the normal time difference with other cities. So sometimes the time difference is 45 minutes and sometimes it is an hour and 45 minutes. That's all. Who made it to the end? All of you who reached this point are the best. Give us a like before you leave so we know how many people watched until the end. And don't forget to write your suggestions for a future episode in the comments.